Hello, everyone, and welcome to the vBrownBag. We've got a impromptu Git Rebase demo here with Rob Nelson. Rob, thanks for hopping on with me.
Sure thing.
My name's Jonathan Frappier, and as part of Commitness, one of the things we're doing is working in teams in Git on different projects. So I had a question on how to use Git Rebase, and Rob threw his hand up when I asked for help in our Slack channel. So thanks again, Rob, for doing that. A few show notes. Tweet us at vBrownBag or use the vBrownBag hashtag. One of us from the vBrownBag crew is normally keeping an eye on that. Quick shout out to all the sponsors. If anyone's hopping in here live now or catches this recording, you've got about 10 hours to go sign up for some of these cool prizes that we have at our annual end of year giveaway. So thank you to all of our sponsors. And of course, Commitments is going on. If you've not been taking part so far, please feel free to hit up the Slack group and hang out for the last couple of weeks and learn some Git with us. So with that, quick recap of sort of how I got here. That's a cool animation. I didn't realize that did that. So as I mentioned before, for Commitments, we are working in teams this year on different projects. So the one I'm working on is Ansible. So we had a team repo in GitHub that Larry Smith created. I made a fork of that and created a branch to develop the role that I was working on in. So I created that branch, started doing some work, commit, and lo and behold, I got a bunch of commits in there, but the role should all be working now. So now I wanted to take that work that I did in my copy, in that fork, and in that branch, and put that back into our master repository. So I merged in my local copy, pushed that up to GitHub, and now I've got that in my fork, and now I want to, put that back in our team's repository for everyone to use. In doing that, I realized there was a lot of commits. So how do I not send lots of stuff over, and in many cases, bad commit messages on things I just was sort of stuck on and did 4 or 5 commits in a row. So that's sort of how we got there. And then because every vBrownBag needs some sort of meme or Simpsons or Star Wars reference, why must I fail at every attempt to use Git Rebase? So hopefully after this, I will understand it. So with that, let me show you where I'm currently at. So this is my repository. Everything's been merged in there. And I want to get this back into our team branch. And as you can see, I've got a lot of stuff in working on the roles that I had. So Rob, help me learn about Git Rebase.
Well, there's 2 ways to rebase this, 2 main ways. The first is if you hit create pull request, GitHub is pretty nice. And I don't know about GitLab and others, but I'm sure they're getting there. If you hit create pull request and you were to go ahead and submit this and click the create pull request button, on the resulting pull request, you or whoever has write access to the repo can actually choose to squash all your commits when they merge it. So they can just reduce it down to 1. But of course, this is a show about how to do the rebase yourself, so we won't take that easy out, but people should know that it's there. That's great when you have maybe somebody's put in a PR and then it's gone silent for a few weeks, and you really want that merged. Gives the repo owners the ability to do that themselves. But for our case here, the easy way is, why don't you bring up your Git command line, wherever you're doing that. If you do let's just do a quick Git log, and we'll see what those, like a page of those commits look like. Okay, so there's all your commits. Yeah, so you got a good bit in there. And if you quit out of that, the way I do this, and again, there's always more than one way to do anything, but if you type Git Rebase and then do a space -I for interactive, and then a space. I think you can sometimes skip this, but I always do origin/master, and that points to the remote called origin, which is what's on GitHub, and the branch master. And what we're going to do is we're going to rebase your branch against origin master. So all the commits that your branch has, that master doesn't on the remote. And if you hit enter there, it should bring up your, it's going to do a little bit of work, and then it'll bring up your editor. Oh. So what branch are you in?
Should have been
sure you're in the right branch.
Should have been in master, because I had already merged it.
Okay, let's exit out of that.
Let me out. VI's not being nice to me right now.
If you just hit escape a few times, or try, oh, there you go. Okay, do a git remote -v.
I sure did.
I don't know what happened. I think you're...
Yeah, something's, it's Windows, so...
terminal emulation.
By PowerShell window. All right, let's try that again.
Commit miss Ansible?
Yep. Thought it was Ansible commit miss. All right, there we go.
All right, now try git remote -v. This is going to show us our remotes. Okay, so here's why I kind of had a naive assumption. We need to add the remote for Mr. Les Smith Jr.'s branch. So if you go over to GitHub, your browser window, and probably open in a new tab where it says fork from. Yeah, click on that in a new tab, and what you want to do is you want to click the clone button and get that, just copy that. Yeah, that should be good. Or you can try the SSH, whichever. I didn't see which one you're using. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to add a remote. We're going to call it git remote add upstream, and then paste that string in.
Just
so
like
what we're going to do is we're going to add a remote that's called upstream.
Okay.
And it's going to be at that URL. And type git fetch upstream. All right, so we got everything from upstream. So now we're going to do our git rebase again, git rebase -I, and instead of origin master, we're going to say upstream/master.
Good.
And if we cross our fingers, there we go. So that is, these are the, what was it, like 14 commits that you have on your branch that aren't in the original. So you can see them, and it actually starts with the oldest at the top and the newest at the bottom, which is the reverse of what you see when you run git log. So now that you're in Rebase, this is interactive, you can do a number of different things. The easiest thing to do is if you look down at the bottom and you've got a number of commands. If you just really just want to squash these all down to one and like set some message, you could leave the pick on the first one, and then on every line after that, just write in squash or S.
Do I leave the pick in there or take the pick out?
No, they take the pick out. So basically, each of these lines, if you delete a line here, that commit gets blown away. If you leave a line in there but change the command, it performs the action down at the bottom, where pick basically just means use as is. And a neat trick is if you rearrange the order of lines, it reapplies commits in that order.
Neat. You said leave the first one, right?
Yeah, at the top, and make the bottom one should be an S. So that's the easiest way to do it, where you want to edit the message. If for some reason you didn't care about the messages, you could use F for fix up, which is the same thing as squashing the commits together, but it discards the log messages for the ones you select. But if you do this and you get out of VI by saving it, escape, I do Shift-ZZ.
What did you want me to do? I normally WQ to get out.
Whatever you want to do. I normally hold down the Shift key and hit Z twice. Now it's going to hopefully do so. Yeah, you can see the rebasing. It's going to go through, hit all 14, make sure that they all work. In your case, this is pretty simple, but if you were doing something where you were changing one of those commits or redoing the order, you might see some merge conflicts there. We won't have that issue today. And then now, since you squashed it, it takes all the commit messages and displays them in order and shows you, this is the first one, the second, the third, the fourth. And you can go through here and just edit this to your heart's content. Whatever you leave that's not a commented out line will be part of the log, including empty lines. So you can just grab a whole block starting above those comment sections and kind of go to town on it. Whatever you want to put in for your log.
This would normally be something that you would check on the particular project or repo that you're working on, right, to see what their preferred process is for doing that, right?
Correct. Yeah, and what kind of comments they want. Some want a ticket number, some want an issue that it's related to, whatever it might be.
All right. Let's leave this as is then for now.
So what I would do, even if you decide to leave it as is, what I do is I would hit the down arrow. This is my little trick. Get right below the base initialization line.
Yep.
And I would hit 3 DD, and it'll delete the blank line, the comment, and the blank line, and then hit the down arrow and dot to repeat that action until you kind of squash them all together. Because like I said, all those blank lines, anything that's not a comment shows up, so this at least gets rid of all the blank lines in between.
Gotcha. Cool.
So now if you exit out, it's going to do its thing. And now if you type git log, you'll see your one change with all those comments, followed by the last change from Larry.
Excellent. So from here, do I need to push anything back up now? What's the...
Yes, you need to push your branch back up to origin master, since you're working on master and you want to push it to your repo, not to the original.
So just do git push here?
Git push, I always spell it out. I do git push origin master. Git push should do it, but it really depends on the version you have. You don't need the slash. You want a space in there.
Like so?
It is weird. I don't know why. Yep. And it's going to throw an error, but I wanted to show this. You're changing the history. So by default, it protects you from this. So hit the up arrow and add a -F at the end. And that is a force that will overwrite it. Again, make sure you understand the contributing guidelines for the repo you're working on. Sometimes they don't like you to do this, but this is kind of your safety net. Don't put the -F on anything until you actually get the error message is kind of my motto for it. That way you don't cause a catastrophe. All right, and now if you go over to your tab and see how it says this branch is 14 commits ahead, if you refresh it, it should say this branch is 1 commit ahead.
Excellent. Look at
and
that.
Now if you do your new pull request, you got 1 commit in it, but still the same number of changes you had.
Excellent.
So those 35 files changed.
Cool.
Now you can go ahead and create the pull request. You can send it on to Larry to look at, and if you go and you add things later, you can always come back and rebase again.
Awesome. Well, Rob, thank you very much for the quick demo and helping me figure that out.
Sure thing.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone, and have a good one. Happy Commitmas.
Merry Commitmas.